The yellow Keke swerved sharply on the busy road in Oshodi. Cars honked. A bus almost hit her from behind. "Move out of the way," a man shouted. But Munachi did not move. Her hands were shaking on the handle. Her eyes were wide. In front of her stood the one person she never expected to see again. Her husband, the same man who left her and their little son with nothing. He stepped closer to the Keke, staring at her as if she was a stranger. "Munachi, is that you?" he asked slowly. Passengers inside her Keke looked confused. One woman whispered, "Driver, do you know him?" Munachi swallowed hard. The engine was still running. Her heart was beating fast like a drum. She had not seen him in 2 years. 2 long years. And now he was standing in front of her Keke, blocking her way. She tightened her grip on the handle. If he knew the truth about why she was riding this Keke, everything would change. But how did it all begin? 2 years earlier, Munachi was not a Keke rider. She was a happy wife living in a small one-room apartment in Keke. Her husband, Sei, used to promise her big dreams. "Very soon, we will move to a better house," he would say. She believed him. She sold Puff Puff in front of their compound to support him while he searched for better work. She woke up early every day. She smiled even when she was tired. Then she gave birth to their son, Chidera. That was when everything changed. Sei began to stay out late. He stopped eating her food. He stopped looking at her with love. One evening, he came home with a strange look on his face. "I am traveling for work," he said. "For how long?" Munachi asked. "Just a short time," but he never returned. His phone stopped working. His friends stopped picking her calls. The landlord began to shout for rent. Munachi waited for weeks, then months. Finally, the landlord locked their door and threw her things outside. She sat on the ground with baby Chidera crying in her arms. That day, something inside her broke, but something else also woke up. She could cry, or she could fight. Munachi chose to fight. At first, she carried baskets in the market. She washed clothes for neighbors. She even worked at a food canteen. But the money was never enough. One afternoon, she saw a woman riding a Keke confidently through traffic. People respected her. She looked strong. Munachi felt something move in her heart. "Can a woman ride a Keke?" she asked an old driver nearby. The man laughed loudly. "It is not easy. Lagos roads are not kind." That night, Munachi could not sleep. If Lagos roads were not kind, then she would become stronger than the roads. She used her last savings to learn how to ride. People laughed when they saw her practicing. Some drivers mocked her, but she did not stop. For her son, for her dignity. Slowly, she became good. Very good. She rented a Keke and started working from dawn till evening. The first day she brought home full money, she cried quietly while Chidera slept beside her. She was no longer just an abandoned wife, she was a Keke rider, a fearless one. And now, 2 years later, the man who left her was standing in front of her Keke in Oshodi. The passengers were growing impatient. "Driver, please move," one said sharply. Sei looked at her carefully. "I have been looking for you," he said. Munachi felt anger rise inside her. "Why?" she asked. Before he could answer, 2 men in black shirts rushed toward them. "Sei, we have found you," one of the men shouted. Munachi's heart froze. Sei turned pale, and suddenly he grabbed the side of her Keke. "Munachi, drive! Please drive now," he whispered urgently. The 2 men were getting closer. Munachi's foot hovered over the accelerator. If she drove away, she would be helping the man who destroyed her life. If she stayed, something terrible might happen. The men were only a few steps away, and Sei jumped into the Keke without asking. Sei slammed the side of the Keke shut and looked at her with fear in his eyes. "Munachi, please, just drive," he said in a low voice. The 2 men were now running toward them. "Stop that Keke," one shouted. Passengers screamed. Munachi's mind was spinning. This was the man who left her hungry, the man who disappeared without a word, the man who made her and Chidera sleep outside. Now he wanted her help. For a second she almost switched off the engine, but the men reached the back of the Keke. One of them tried to grab the metal frame. Munachi pressed the accelerator hard. The Keke jumped forward. Horns blasted from every side. A bus driver yelled. A woman inside the Keke covered her face. Munachi's hands were steady now. She weaved through cars like she had done many times before, left, right, straight. The men were left behind in the crowd. Inside the Keke, nobody spoke. Sei was breathing fast. "Thank you," he said quietly. Munachi did not answer. When they reached a quiet street near Bolade, she stopped the Keke suddenly. "Everybody, I please come down," she said to the passengers. They stepped out quickly, whispering among themselves. One man shook his head. "This Lagos life is not small." Munachi waited until they left. Then she turned slowly to face Sei. "Talk," she said. He avoided her eyes. "I made mistakes," he began. "You left your wife and baby," she cut in sharply. "That is not a mistake. That is a choice." He swallowed. "I got involved with some people. They promised fast money." Munachi laughed bitterly. "Fast money?" He nodded. "Transport business, but it was not clean. I did not know at first." She stared at him. "You knew," she said quietly. He said nothing. "They have been looking for me," he continued. "I owe them money." "So you ran," Munachi said. "Yes." "And today they found you." He nodded again. There was silence between them. Munachi remembered the nights she cried, the days she begged for food for Chidera, the insults from neighbors. "You never called," she said softly. "I was ashamed." "Were you ashamed when your child was hungry?" she asked. He had no answer. A small boy crossed the road, holding his mother's hand. Munachi watched them carefully. Her son would soon be that tall. Strong, she had done that alone. "Where are you staying?" she asked Sei. "Nowhere safe." Munachi felt anger again, but also something else, responsibility. Not for him, but for her son. If those men were dangerous, they might come looking for her too. "You cannot follow me home," she said firmly. "I will not disturb you," he replied quickly. "I just need a place to hide for tonight." Munachi shook her head. "After 2 years, you think life is that simple?" Before he could speak again, her phone began to ring. It was her neighbor, Auntie Ifunanya. Munachi answered quickly. "Munachi, where are you?" the woman said in a worried voice. "I am working," Munachi replied. "2 men came here asking for you," Auntie Ifunanya said. Munachi's heart stopped. "They said you know someone called Sei." Her eyes slowly turned toward the man sitting beside her. "They were not smiling," Auntie Ifunanya continued. "I told them nothing, but they said they will come back." Munachi ended the call slowly. The street suddenly felt smaller. The danger had followed her home. She looked at Sei with cold eyes. "You have brought trouble to my child," she said. "I am sorry," he whispered. "Sorry, that word again." In the distance, she saw a black car turning into the street, and her stomach tightened. The windows were tinted. The car slowed down, and it stopped right in front of her Keke. The black car engine went silent. The door opened slowly. Munachi's fingers tightened on the handle of her Keke. 2 men stepped out, the same men from Oshodi. Sei's face lost all color. "They found me," he whispered. Munachi did not look at him. Her eyes were fixed on the men walking toward them. The taller one smiled, but there was no kindness in his face. "Ah, Sei," he said calmly, "you like to run." People on the street began to watch from a distance. Nobody wanted to come close. Munachi's mind was working fast. She could drive again. But the street was narrow. If she tried to escape, they might chase her to her house, to her son. That could not happen. The shorter man pointed at her. "So this is your wife?" Munachi lifted her chin. "Ex-wife," she said boldly. The taller man laughed. "We are not here for family drama. We just want our money." "I do not have your money," Sei said quickly. "But you promised," the shorter man replied. Munachi looked at Sei sharply. "How much?" she asked. Sei hesitated. 5 million naira. Her breath caught in her throat. 5 million, that was not small money. The taller man stepped closer to the Keke. "You have 3 days," he told Sei. "After that, we will collect something else." His eyes moved to Munachi. "And we do not miss." A chill ran through her body. The men walked back to their car. The engine started again. Within seconds, they were gone. The street slowly returned to normal. People continued walking as if nothing happened. But Munachi's world had changed. She turned to Sei slowly. You will not follow me home, she said in a low voice. I have nowhere else, he replied weakly. That is not my problem. Munachi, please, if they find me alone. She cut him off. When I was alone with a baby and no money, where were you? He had no answer. She started the engine again. Get down, she ordered. Sei stepped out slowly. He looked smaller now, broken. Please, he said one last time. Munachi looked straight ahead. For 3 days, you will not come near my house, she said. If you care about your son at all, you will disappear. Tears filled his eyes. I never stopped caring, he whispered. She did not respond. She drove away. Her heart was heavy, but her mind was clear. That night she locked her door twice. Chidera ran to her happily. Mummy, you are late, he said. She forced a smile. I had many passengers today, she replied. He hugged her tightly. Mummy, are you strong? He asked suddenly. She froze. Yes, she said softly, very strong. He nodded proudly. My teacher said strong people protect their family. Munachi kissed his forehead. I will always protect you, she promised. Later that night, after Chidera slept, she sat quietly in the dark. 5 million naira, 3 days. Those men were serious. If they did not find Sei, they might come back to her. She could report to the police. But would the police act fast enough? She had worked too hard to lose everything now. Her Keke, her small room, her son's school. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She hesitated before answering. Hello? A calm voice spoke on the other end. Good evening, Munachi. Her heart skipped. How do you know my name? There was a soft chuckle. We know many things. Her hand began to shake. We know you are a very good Keke rider, the voice continued, and we know you love your son. Fear crawled through her chest. What do you want? She asked. You will help us find Sei, the voice said smoothly, or the 3 days will become one. The call ended. Munachi stared at her phone. They were not just after Sei, they were watching her. Outside her window, she heard the sound of a car stopping. She slowly stood up and walked toward the curtain. Her heart was beating loudly in her ears. She pulled the curtain slightly aside, and she saw the same black car parked directly in front of her building. Munachi's breath stopped. The black car was parked quietly in front of her building. The engine was off. The windows were dark. She stepped back from the curtain slowly. Chidera was sleeping peacefully on the small mattress. His tiny hand was open beside his face. Munachi felt something rise inside her. It was not fear. It was fire. She picked up her phone again and looked at the unknown number. They wanted her to help them find Sei. They thought she was weak. They did not know her. She moved quietly to the door and locked it again. Then she pushed the small table against it. Her mind began to work. If they were watching her house, then they believed Sei might come here. That meant they did not know where he was. Good, but how long would they wait? She checked the time. 10:47 p.m. A soft knock suddenly came from the door. Her heart jumped. Another knock. Munachi. It is me, a whisper said. Sei. Her eyes widened. What was he doing here? Please open the door, he begged softly. They are looking for me. Tears filled her eyes, but her voice stayed firm. You cannot come in. I saw the black car, he said. They followed me. Her chest tightened. They are downstairs, she replied. There was silence outside. Then he whispered, I know how to end this. Munachi frowned. What do you mean? I have something they want, he said, not just money. Her heart began to race again. What are you talking about? I cannot say it loudly, he replied. But if I give it to them, they will leave you and Chidera alone. Munachi's hand hovered over the lock. This man had lied before. He had broken her trust. But this was about her son. What is it? She asked again. Footsteps sounded from the stairway, heavy footsteps. Someone was climbing. Sei's whisper became urgent. They are coming upstairs. Munachi's mind moved fast. If she opened the door, she could be putting her son in danger. If she did not open it, they might catch Sei right outside her room. And if they caught him there, they would know he came to her. The footsteps were closer now. Voices murmured, Check this floor. Munachi made her choice. She unlocked the door quickly and pulled Sei inside. She locked it again and pushed the table back in place. Say's face was sweaty. "They are serious," he whispered. "What do you have?" she demanded. He reached into his small bag and brought out a flash drive. "This," he said. Munachi stared at it. "What is that?" "Proof," he replied. "Proof of what they are doing. Names, accounts, everything." Her eyes widened. "You stole from them?" "No," he said quickly. "Only I copied it when I found out they were not just moving money. They are using drivers to transport illegal goods." Munachi felt dizzy. "So you were part of it?" "I did not know at first," he said quietly. "When I found out, I was afraid. I planned to report them, but they found out." A loud bang hit the door downstairs. Someone shouted. Munachi looked at the flash drive again. If what he was saying was true, this was not just about money. This was about crime. Dangerous crime. "Why did you not go to the police?" she asked. "I was scared," he replied. "And now?" He looked at her with pleading eyes. "Now I have nothing left to lose." Another bang came from the stairway, this time closer. Munachi's heart pounded hard. Chidera stirred in his sleep. She looked at her son, then she looked at the flash drive. She was just a Keke rider. But she was also a mother, strong, fearless. She took the flash drive from Say's hand. "If we are doing this," she said slowly, "we are doing it my way." Before Say could answer, there was a heavy knock on her door. "Open this door," a man's voice shouted. The handle began to shake violently, and the wood started to crack. The door shook again. "Open it," the man shouted. Munachi's heart was beating so loudly she thought the whole building could hear it. Chidera sat up suddenly, rubbing his eyes. "Mummy?" She rushed to him and pulled him close. "It is okay," she whispered. "Stay behind me." Another hard kick hit the door. The wood split a little. Say looked around the small room helplessly. "They will break it." Munachi's mind was clear now. She looked at the flash drive in her hand. "This is the only power we have," she said. And Say nodded. "If it reaches the police, they are finished." The door cracked again. Munachi made a fast decision. She grabbed her small old laptop from the table and plugged it in quickly. Her hands moved fast, even though they were shaking. "Hurry," Say whispered. She inserted the flash drive. Files opened on the screen. Names, bank numbers, photos, records of illegal goods. Munachi felt sick. "These people are dangerous," she said. "I told you," Say replied. The door almost gave way. Munachi quickly connected her phone to the laptop. She began sending the files to an email address. "To who?" Say asked. "My neighbor's son," she said. "He works with the police unit in Ikeja." The sending bar moved slowly, 20%, 30%. A loud crash shook the room. The door broke halfway. Chidera screamed. Munachi hugged him tighter. "I hurry," Sei shouted, 60%. The men's voices were louder now. "Break it!" Another kick. The door burst open. 2 men rushed inside. Munachi stood up immediately, blocking her son behind her. The taller man looked around and saw the laptop. "What are you doing?" he barked. Munachi did not answer. She looked at the screen. 90%. The shorter man grabbed Sei by the shirt. "You thought you were smart," he growled. The taller man stepped toward Munachi. "Give me that," he said, reaching for the laptop. Munachi held it tightly. The screen flashed. 100%. Sent. The taller man slapped the laptop out of her hands. It hit the floor and broke. "You foolish woman," he shouted. Munachi looked up at him calmly. "It is too late," she said. For a second, confusion crossed his face. Then his phone buzzed. He checked it. His expression changed. Sirens sounded faintly in the distance. Police sirens. The men looked at each other. "You called them?" the shorter one shouted. Munachi did not move. "I sent everything," she replied quietly. The sirens grew louder. The men pushed Sei to the ground and ran out quickly. Footsteps thundered down the stairs. Within minutes, police officers rushed into the building. Neighbors crowded around. Questions filled the air. The black car outside tried to drive away, but it was blocked at the end of the street. That night, several arrests were made. The flash drive became strong evidence. News spread quickly. People praised Munachi's bravery. They called her fearless, a strong mother, a hero. But inside her small room, there was no celebration. Sei sat quietly on the floor, holding his head. and the police had told him something before taking him away for questioning. He was not fully innocent. He would still face charges for his involvement, even if he helped expose them. Munachi watched silently as they led him downstairs. He turned once to look at her. "I am sorry," he said. She did not reply. She held Chidera close. Days passed. The case became big news. The criminal group was exposed, but Say did not come home. He was taken into custody for his role in the transport operations. Even though he helped at the end, the law did not ignore his past actions. Munachi stood outside the small police station one afternoon, holding Chidera's hand. Through the small window, she saw Say sitting inside a cell. He looked smaller than she remembered. Broken, Chidera looked up at her. "Mummy, why is Daddy inside there?" Munachi swallowed hard. "Because sometimes," she said softly, "choices have consequences." Tears filled the boy's eyes. "Will he come home?" She could not answer. Instead, she pulled him close. They walked back to their small room in silence. Life did not become easy. The black car was gone. The men were gone. But the scars remained. Munachi returned to her Keke the next morning. She drove through Oshodi again. The same busy road, the same noise, but now people pointed at her sometimes. "That is the woman who exposed them," they whispered. She did not smile. She did not feel proud. She felt tired. At night, when the city became quiet, she would sometimes sit alone and think. She had survived. She had protected her son. She had become fearless. But she had also watched the father of her child disappear behind cold bars. Chidera would sleep beside her and ask fewer questions each day. One evening, as she parked her Keke outside their building, she saw a small drawing on the wall made by her son. It showed 3 people holding hands: a mother, a father, a child. Munachi stared at it for a long time. Then she slowly erased the father with her hand. Tears rolled down her face silently. She was strong. She was fearless, but strength did not remove pain, and sometimes surviving meant losing something that could never return. Thank you so much for watching. What's your view about this story? Which city are you watching from? Kindly let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.